willing, like I accept any challenge. So whoever it is, I'm excited about all of them though. There's a lot of, like, as I started looking through it, I'm like, there's a lot of good grapplers and good, like, there's a kind of some interesting skill sets, and I always want to test myself against the best, and yeah, I'm excited. So whoever it is, but obviously I'm totally focused on Friday night and making sure that I come out on top. So that's my focus for now.
And my last one, when it comes to matchmaking, I think a lot of people are a little disappointed that you guys are fighting so soon, because we kind of want that to be at the end. Do you feel like that, or are you happy to get, you know, a chance of her right away, and then you can improve and then maybe fight her again in finals?
Yeah, I think that, I think what I'm excited about is that it's 145, and fighting her right off the bat. She was the champ from last year. It's like, it's kind of one of those fights that wake you up in the morning, light that fire, and like get you going, and kind of like dealing with that. So focusing on that right away and having that is kind of it helped kind of set my year off to just like a huge kickstart. So yeah, I'm excited for it now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You faced many great and experienced fighters throughout your career. Where do you rank Larissa on your opponents list?
I mean, your toughest opponent's always the one right in front of you, right? So I think that she's great. I think she, like, I admire her for obviously like coming out with a victory after losing to Kayla twice. Kind of watching how she carried herself, it wasn't an easy road for her. So seeing her come out, that was something that I rank her as, like, she's a champion, and to continue going when she's had to deal with some of the stuff that she's had to deal with, I think that she's a very worthy opponent.
And this is going to be your 6th pro main event. Does it being held in Las Vegas like elevate the stakes for you, or is it just another fight?
Well, I think MSG last year was like the dream place. So I think that this is like a very close second, I'd say, but I'm the main event now. So it's like, we're not the co-main. I just noticed that the fights got changed. We're the main event, and I'm ready for it. Like, I'm just so excited. Wherever it is, if it was in a backyard or in right here, I get just as excited to fight. So, yeah.
Julia, I know that you've probably thought about this fight a lot and how you feel this is going to end. Without sharing your game plan, can you maybe share are there different ways you see this fight finishing for you?
I mean, I've seen it. I've envisioned so much, obviously, but I just think it's really important to take it one step at a time, 1 minute at a time, 15 seconds at a time, and just kind of work my way to that finish. And when I see it, jump on it. That's kind of what I'm going for. So whether it's with my Muay Thai skills or my grappling or my wrestling, I'm going to jump on that when it presents itself to me.
Is there a particular fight in your history that you can point at where you say, if this Julia Budd were to show up, she's unstoppable?
Yeah, like I even think that if, my Olga Rubin fight, that was just like just the whole fight week, the fight, how it happened. It was kind of like it felt like it was like 20 years of mixed martial arts tied into those couple minutes. But even how I fought Cyborg, I think that I won that first round, and it was a really tough fight. Obviously, I didn't come out with the win there, but I mean, yeah, any of those people show up, it's coming out with my hands raised.
Going back to that Larissa fight, she got the Kayla fight. She got the victory. Yeah. But, it was a close fight. Mm-hmm. Was there anything that you were able to pick up that Kayla was able to do that you feel like maybe you can implement against Larissa? Yeah, like I thought Kayla actually if she was more confident with her striking was actually better than hers in that fight. She was going forward, landing, and I thought that she was really good with her kickboxing there. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think that maybe because of it being a rematch and them fighting each other before, she was more cautious with her wrestling defense, so she hung back a little bit more when she fought Kayla. But, yeah, there's a lot that I could pick up from that fight, for sure. Considering what she went through last year, Larissa, would you say getting her right now is probably the best moment to get her? Well, yeah, I think that it's funny because it's like two paths. Like, she went through a bunch of wins last year, and I went through 2 losses. So I was forced to go back and completely take a look at every aspect of who I am and how I want to be in the sport. And that is a dangerous person to fight, I believe, is the person that had to go back and reevaluate and sharpen all their skills. And her coming off of being the champion, having a couple of those quick wins in the beginning and then beating Kayla in the finals, I think that, yeah, I think she might be underestimating me a little bit.
Sorry. As you enter the latter half of your career, what's more important to you, championship with PFL or the money that championship will bring with it?
I think just being, like, my goal is always the same, to be the very best mixed martial artist I can be. So having my hands raised, being the champion, that's obviously number one goal. And then the money is kind of like a side piece that is super, well, amazing. Obviously, it's very, it can be almost distracting, I think, from like what the goal actually is. Goal's got to be win this first fight, win, get as many points as possible. That's like goal number one. So I think that a lot of the time in this, and especially in PFL's like this season format, it's easy to look at the end result and kind of miss the steps that you got to take to get there. So I'm not doing that. I'm kind of like one step at a time, gonna work my way to that ending result.
Not everybody's blessed with great abs like me and you. What's the secret to getting those Julia Budd abs?
Diet and
The
hard
first time I
work.
saw you was just like, my God, you see the abs before you see you. You know?
Okay, well, yeah, diet and hard work. You know what I mean? Like dedication and just I'm very disciplined. So, that's it.
Yeah, right here. I've noticed in past fights of yours that you have a fighting style that includes an unparalleled focus, especially when you're kickboxing. I've witnessed you get hard, take a second, reset, and then get back to that focus. So where does that sort of gritty focus come from? Is that part of your nature, or did you develop that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's developing it obviously through like years of doing this for like 25 years, but also just like that was the same thing when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like I've always been a competitor and somebody that wants to win. So it's kind of like I played sports with all the guys, and a lot of the time I was the only girl out there on the field, and I would make sure I had something to prove every time I got out there. So it's a little bit of both, kind of like my upbringing, and also just like years of doing this and wanting to be the best.
I read on the Gibson MMA webpage that you have a bachelor's degree in human kinetics. Did kinesiology in the world of fitness lead you to martial arts, or did martial arts lead you into a fitness pursuit?
The only way my parents would pay for my martial arts membership was if I was going to school. So I was kind of like, okay, I got to go to college, I got to get this done, and also like my passion was obviously being an athlete, so it kind of went hand in hand. But that's kind of why I ended up at school. It's like, okay, as long as I get my degree, my parents will let me keep going to Gibson MMA and pay for my membership. So I remember the conversations with my mom before that, and she's like, okay, like because it's so far away. So it was like a 2-hour commute for me to get from my university to my MMA gym. So just kind of like, yeah, those conversations, it was definitely, I wanted to be a professional fighter, but I had to do my school to get there, so.
I also pursued that in university,
Oh,
but
cool.
I switched my third year. So,
Oh, nice.
anyways, last question. Last week I interviewed Lance Gibson Jr. and he talked about his fishing hobby. Do you ever go fishing with him, and do you have a fishing story?
Do I have a fishing story? Well, yeah, actually, I caught a coho, I think, right? A little baby coho, like a good size, but my fish is definitely a lot smaller than Lance Gibson seniors. But they go out for like 12 hours a day. It's like very serious. I'm like thinking I'm gonna tan on the front of the boat and like throw the line in and maybe catch a fish or here or there, but they're like serious diehards. So I kind of let it be their thing.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Given your last fight,
Mhm.
and throwing you in here with last season's champion,
Yeah.
how important is it to have a short memory in MMA and also just keep the mental toughness for you?
Yeah, it's so important. I think that the mental toughness and just like basically being able to reset and refocus is obviously part of the game, because the result is like only one piece of it, you know, like all the hard work, you got to look at like all the good and all the like the process. It's really important to constantly go back to the process of getting there. So that's what I'm able to do.
You mentioned that you were often the only lady amongst the fellas playing sports
Mhm.
growing up. And is that where you learned how to fight? Was maybe on the ice rink maybe at some point?
Yeah, maybe. It wasn't necessarily hockey. It was more so like, it was just like in soccer and baseball, everything. It was like, you know, I played hardball, and getting just like, it was scary a lot of the time, because you're with guys and getting like cracked with the hardball like right in the stomach, and getting back up because you don't want to look weak or whatever. Those kind of things were just,
areas in my mind that I was like, it got me angry instead of like wanting to quit. So I think definitely that's where I developed some of my toughness.
Now, will there ever be a time in your life where you would ever fall back on those college credentials, those college chops that you have?
Maybe.
Once it's all said and done,
Yeah.
after you've made $1 million and won a couple championships?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm like, I think that after all is said and done, when I look at it, I'm an amazing coach, and I want to bring other people. I want to help other people pursue their dreams. Yeah, I'm getting like emotional even thinking about it, but yeah, that's something that's in my heart. Help other people follow in these footsteps, and that's something that I want to do. But I'm so focused. Like, this is one time in my life where I feel like I'm like, all my focus is going towards this, and a lot of the time it was like, well, as a woman, you're like thinking, okay, is it time to have a family? Is it time to do this? And you kind of feel split amongst a lot of different decisions in your life. And this is one of the first times I'm like fully committed, all in. I'm doing this because might be my last year fighting. This might be my last fight. So it's like one step at a time. I want to do this fight, and I want to go out there and give it my all. And like I said before, unleash who I am. So I'm like fully all in.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Best
you.
of luck.
Thank you.